Go.
Alright guys, don't slaughter me for this. This is my first vlog. Behind me we have Zach Kuntz's 2011 CTS V. It broke 2 pistons, so pulled the block out, sent it to the machine shop. They boarded it over, honed it, decked it, all that good stuff. Put diamonds, pistons, Callies Compstar rods. Right now I'm putting the oil squirters in. Got the crank, new bearings, all that, overhaul it. Time for big boost, big power.
Okay.
This cylinder number 5, cylinder number 7. No happy. Stock ring lands butted, cracked the pistons, and tore up the block a little bit. So that's why it had to be machined. Luckily the crank was savable. Nothing, no major damage to it. The block did have to be bored 15 over. And it's a sleeve block, so the sleeves are going to be a little thin now, but they say it's within safe range for the power he's shooting for. So. Alright guys, got the cam in the block and everything. Everything's torqued down to spec. Oil pumps on, torqued to spec. Lifters are in, trays are in, all that's torqued. And now we're putting in the ARP head studs. We're going to go with GM multi-layer steel OEM gaskets. And turn up the boost, make this thing make some power. Screwing in these ARP head studs. I was looking at the sleeves, and you can see where you got the aluminum block, and then it's a different color metal right here. That's a steel sleeve. And these blocks, typically whenever the sleeves are scarred up or beyond repair, you take them to the machine shop and they'll actually cut these out, cut the block, and install new sleeves. But his weren't messed up bad enough to need to be re-sleeved, so they just bored at 15 thou and make some power. Alright guys, got the ARP head studs all in, new multi-layer steel gaskets, got the surface cleaned up. Now it's time to slap on the Frankenstein heads. Alright guys and gals, here's another update. I got the cylinder heads on, ARP bolts torqued to spec, got the OEM valve cover on. Still need to clean up the intake a little bit. Gonna be blocking the valley port off because this is getting some Motion Raceworks billet valve covers with 10A in to a catch can. So front timing cover is on, torqued. You see ARP head studs are in there. It's a dual valve springs, titanium retainers and keepers. Got the rear main seal back there, brand new, put in, torqued to spec. Knock sensors on, windage tray, oil pan, all that's torqued on. Got the corners with the little gasket material. So next up, I'm gonna come over here. Got new lifters. Not gonna be using those valve covers, but I do have to clean up the OEM rockers. I'm gonna reuse those. Clean up the push rods, get them installed. There's the ATI damper and the overdriven lower pulley, and then got a reinforced OEM brick, new gasket, get the lid cleaned up, and then the box of Motion valve covers is right here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but there they are. Alright, get this show on the road. Alright guys, here's another update. Got the balancer on and torqued with the ARP bolt. Got the DSX lower pulley on. Got the Motion Raceworks valve covers mocked up. They aren't fully tight right now. That way I can get all the coil packs and everything aligned once I get the engine in. Flex plate is torqued down, red Loctite. Keep the project car in the background. 2J baby. So it's about time we get the old Cadillac down off the lift. Slap that ported LSA supercharger on there and hear her scream. Let's go. Alright everybody, here's an update. I haven't really posted much. I've been fighting this thing tooth and nail, but the engine's in there. Kind of hard to see, but let's see if I can get it in there.
Here, hold it.
Not that one. There we go. You can see that one. Some billet vibration resistant engine mounts. Headers are just mocked up right now. That way I get them out of the way so I can bolt the transmission up, but on we go. Alright guys and gals, excuse the mess. I haven't updated in a while. I've been fighting, to say the least, but got the engine fully dressed, topped off coolant with supercharger and the engine oil, all the accessory belts, AC belt, supercharger belt, everything's on. The manifolds or headers torqued down, valve covers are in there, coil packs are on. You'll notice the coil packs are not plugged in because there are no spark plugs in the engine. I am going to crank it over for a little while with no spark plugs in it, and I'm going to disable the fuel relay. That way I can build some oil pressure, and once I see oil pressure, I will put the spark plugs in, put the wires on, put the fuel pump relay in, and start it for real. But this is the update. Oh, also I have to make up the AN lines and put the catch can in for the motion valve covers. Alright everybody, here's the final update. So I have to put the tire on there, obviously, but the engine is fully dressed. I fired it up, great oil pressure, got the break-in oil in it, coolant's topped off. Sorry, I suck at this. Supercharger coolant's topped off. Got those big, beefy 10 AN Motion Raceworks fittings in there. There we go. Got the camera in focus. Tucked in behind the blower. The other one's over here. Motion Raceworks catch can tucked in back there. Yeah, that's it. I'll post a video of it running here shortly. Alright everybody, here's a final update. Such a beautiful color. She's about to go home to her owner. Everybody say goodbye.